Hey, hey, honeys. This is your girl, Reveal J Humble, back with another one. I haven't been on here for a while, so I was coming back to, give a little insight from things I've been learning along my journey. Uh, and just kind of adding to it. So far, everything's been, I can say, really blessed. um, Maybe not going accordingly the way I would like to see them, but hey, God knows what He's doing, and I trust in the Lord. So, my topic today is the scars of forgiveness. Now, many of us go through a lot of things, and my personal saying is, how else do you know that you're chosen if you're not betrayed or go through the most or the suffering experience? Now, remember, everything that we do here in this material or world that we are in and not of is a suffering experience or a experience. For me personally, it has been somewhat a suffering experience. Okay. Now, yes, I have all the attributes of the suffering experience, which is my definition of the suffering experience is a life event, meaningful inspiration, uh, or meaningful inspirational quotes, stories of emotional events, evoking examples, an emotional tone that invokes thoughts, perceptions, opinions, or compassion. Now, you know, I was thinking about some things like how we all have triggers about things that we have been through. And it makes us go into a revolving circle. When we're constantly growing day by day, moment by moment, learning new things, and we're also growing into who we will become or who we want to become or who we regret that we wasn't. Um, in me and my experience, ooh, let me get it right. Let me get it right. Okay, me and my experience, I find myself having to like respond to a lot of the hate chatter. Okay, which ends up going to my mental chatter and ends up going to that mental loop. Well, that mental loop is more so like that revolver. And that revolver is the trigger that keeps getting pulled. Well, I started thinking today as I was hearing some very, very great inspirational things and just some realities that I need to check about myself to move forward. I started hearing some great things from some people, some inspirational people that I listened to. And one that came across my mind was all the music, all the things that I have used as tools in my life to get me through difficult situations. As I go back and reminisce over those things, or maybe a mental loop comes around, or something triggers me to remember a lot of events that has passed. First, I thought, one, it has passed. Thank you, Lord. Two, as I go back through these things that I use as tutelage to get me through certain hard times and where my mental space was at that time, from childhood, from teenage years to young adult to my age now, I realized that not only was they helpful tools in music and inspirational things to allow me to vicariously live through someone else's story, it allowed me to also not make those same mistakes or the mistakes that I was getting ready to come into, which allowed me to be here now. So, with that being said, it brought me to a place that someone had mentioned, and she's a very lovely, inspirational speaker, and she speaks for God. And she had brought me to this thought of whenever you hear these songs that you use to get through your hard times, whenever you see the things that you utilize, the quotes, the sayings, or scriptures, or certain friends, certain mechanisms of just like going into yourself and being in your safe zone, in your imaginary world from childhood up. Okay, these are all things that God has given you to not only make you stronger, to show you that you can self soothe, that you have made it through it. And it brings back a reflection of look at where you were back then to where you are now. Look at the person you was then and how you felt in that moment, in that space that you kept to yourself. Those times that you may have felt like you're in a crowd of people but you still feel alone. Look at where and how God used each and every individual's talents, sayings, spur of the moment quotes, things that made you laugh, things that got you to that next stage, that next phase